Thanks for joining us on the Nikki Maduro Show. I'm Nikki Maduro. She's Kim McAllister. And thank you guys for being here. And thank you guys for last week. I wasn't feeling 100%. And if you guys want to know the truth, I was sick the past 2 days at home. Sick. It's taken me a whole week. I swear to God, it was just, I was down for the count. I don't know, but I feel 100%. And that means I got my cocktails today, my friend. We are doing cocktails and news all day today. So thank you guys so much for being here and for supporting the show. Thank you so much to our PayPal subscribers as well that have donated in the past few days. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Of course, we are 100% crowdfunded. So if you guys can support us through PayPal that we absolutely love or our Patreon, all the ways to support us are in the show notes because we are 100% crowdfunded. And we're here. What are we on? Year 3, Kim, I think right now?
Yes, we are on year 3, as a matter of fact. The show has changed a little through the years, but we're still
here, darn it. We are
perseverance, grit.
And we're only here because of you guys. Honestly, we are here because you guys want us here. So thank you guys so much for your support. And of course, the super chat and super stickers are live as well. And we have a fun show. A lot of crap has happened since last week. I swear to God, if we weren't actually living in these times, I would crack up. Like if I was an outsider looking back at history, so much of the shit that's happening would just crack me up. I have to start with some of the lighter stuff, of course. And I have to start with the FIFA Peace Prize, which I could not stop laughing anymore over Donald Trump getting this absolutely fake Peace Prize. And not only him getting this Peace Prize, but the juxtaposition of how serious Fox News hosts and Newsmax people were taking it versus the rest of society seeing it for exactly what it was. And even Donald Trump knew that it was a total BS freaking award. Like he's holding it out, like, and he puts it on himself, and it's not a real Peace Prize.
Fake award.
And the FIFA president knows exactly, and he knows. But this is the thing: when someone was making this point, which I think is very true, and we need to keep in mind, people from other countries are placating our baby president, right? Mm-hmm. Because they want to have good favor with him, and it's as simple as making an ugly ass statue with a fake medal that you can wear anywhere you want to, pat on the head. It's embarrassing. It is absolutely, I know, Newsom's response was hilarious. He gave himself the Coles Peace Prize. I haven't seen that yet.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, Newsom's been on a tear lately. He has been on a tear lately. But it's dangerous. This is, if you can curry favor, honestly, if you can curry favor with a president simply by creating some fake award, right? And that's what he did. The FIFA president, who's a buddy of Trump's, was mad that he didn't win the Peace Prize, which he shouldn't have, right? Like, I mean, come on. He's not a peaceful president. I mean, look what's going on at the exact same time he's winning. Winning implies you were actually in competition against somebody, by the way. But he doesn't deserve this award. And the funniest part is that people are like, oh, what? You wanted it to go to, I think it was Greg Gutfeld was saying like, oh, you wanted to go to somebody like Greta Thunberg or whatever. I'm like, oh, you mean like people that actually deserve it? I'm just going to play you this because just there. Yeah. There's the Kohl's.
Prize comes with $50 in Kohl's cash.
Which, you know what, in this economy with this inflation, I'll take it. You know
take
what I mean?
it.
I'll take that Kohl's cash. But I mean, again, I'm just going to show you this is what the president can be won by.
There is also a beautiful medal for you that you can wear.
Ooh, look at him.
Everywhere you want to go.
Look at him.
You can wear it everywhere you want to go.
He puts it on himself.
Fantastic. Excellent.
He's a child. He's like, look, I got my own medal. It's embarrassing, Kim. It really is.
It's the display of ass kissing that should feel humiliating to FIFA people. Mm-hmm.
It's just so, I mean, it was comical because everybody was saying the same thing, that it was obviously a made up award. But again, we do have to take this in the context of how our country and our leader, I'm sorry to say, he's our president, is viewed on the international stage. It's embarrassing and it's dangerous. It's basically telling world leaders, this is all it takes to placate Donald Trump. He's a child. He's an absolute child. And it's ridiculous. Oh, Ricky, I want one.
I want one too.
You can make one. I'm sure you can make one. You can get one out of the bubblegum machine. You know what I mean? Like, I'm absolutely positive that you can get one out of it.
So here's obviously it's ridiculous. And it's it's a participation trophy to appease a man with the internal ego of a small child. And we all understand that. It's so silly and he's just so dumb. However, I'm thinking about the people of Venezuela right now. I don't know what the civic climate is like in Venezuela, if people pay attention to the news, but I'm pretty sure that they're talking about the United States blowing up boats off their coast and sending commandos down on ropes via helicopter to take away their gas because their gas prices are higher because of that, is what I read.
Of course.
So they must know that this is going on, right? Again, I don't know what the news dissemination is like in Venezuela, but I do know that in South American and Central American countries, football, soccer is a big deal, right? Like these many parts of the world, but especially South America, it's a big deal. Like football, soccer is huge. And so when you have a country like Venezuela, where I assume that soccer is a big deal there as well, and then you have FIFA giving the peace prize to the guy who's blowing up boats off their coast and appropriating their oil.
appropriating, exactly.
Pirating. It would seem to me that the people of Venezuela would be really mad at FIFA.
Yeah.
Right?
Well,
because I mean, like the NFL and the MLB are big in America, I would imagine FIFA is a really big deal in South American countries. Soccer is still gaining a foothold, unintended, here in America. It's not as big, I would say, as other sports. Maybe it's growing in popularity, but it isn't as big still, right? At least in my mind. But in a country where it is a big deal, that's like their NFL or MLB. So you've got basically the leader of one of the biggest, sports conglomerates in the world giving Trump a prize at the same time of the blowing up of boats and the commandeering of oil ships. It just it doesn't jibe. It doesn't make sense to me in my brain. Help me.
What's interesting is that you brought up, you don't know how the news is being disseminated in Venezuela, which brings up something that's actually, I was reading, I think this was in the Washington Post. It was something that Donald Trump did that's actually biting him in the ass, which is kind of what their headline was. Voice of America. Remember, he kind of decimated, he defunded it because he didn't like it. That was the way the United States kind of got their message, through Voice of America in all of these countries. Well, now that it's basically bankrupt, right? They can't get their message out through Voice of America. That vacuum has been filled by people that are spreading the opposite message of what Americans want in places like Venezuela. And
they're a bunch of morons, aren't they? The Trump administration. Could you have not seen that coming?
Exactly.
Like, if you're not listening to this, then you're listening to something else. Whose message do you want pushed?
And if you don't have a place or any sort of system in place to share the American message, or the American, and I'll just use the word propaganda because it's not our country, right? Our messaging in a foreign country, there are regimes, there are leaders, dictators, fill in the blank title that you want, that will fill that vacuum with whatever message they want, Venezuelans or whatever citizenry they want, with whatever message. And you will not have the ability to counter it at all. And so, I mean, yes, the internet exists, but come on now. I mean, people's access and ability to read the same thing and have the same messaging is not the same as if it's on the ground there. And so Donald Trump is an idiot, again, of doing stuff like this. But yeah, it's a cluster. It is it is everything that he is not, right? I am the peace president. He is not. I'm the affordability president. He is not. Which brings us to, obviously affordability. He came out today and actually hinted that he has some semblance of reality, where he was screaming and yelling, Kim, when are the polls going to start showing that, everything I'm doing is right for the economy, that things are less expensive? When they start becoming less expensive, dumbass, like the polls will start showing that Americans are feeling more secure in the economy. The polls will start showing that people feel that they can afford things better, that affordability is actually better. When affordability is better, when the prices have actually dropped all across the board. Now, have some things dropped in prices? Of course they have. But across the board, people are tightening their belts, and they don't need the president of the United States telling them, you don't need $37, you just need 2 or 3, and then that's going to save Christmas. Like the messaging is so freaking tone deaf from this president. It literally shocks me. And at the same time, we're still seeing the bickering that we knew was going to come over healthcare. And all these people are going to either choose the higher deductible plan or forego healthcare altogether when the new year comes. And if you don't think something's going to screw you, try getting sick without health insurance.
I just don't understand from a group of people that don't participate in the whole nanny government thing, right? Where the government's going to tell you whether or not you can smoke and whether or not you should wear a helmet, whether or not, like, there's this group of people that are kind of farther right, I would think, that want hands-off government,
right?
Perhaps. And it doesn't seem like the message of the president is going to tell me how many Christmas presents to buy my kids and how many pencils Jacob needs to do math in school.
Right.
Like how many dolls Julia should have. What? Not anymore, but you know what I mean? Like,
exactly.
Who is he to tell me how many things we need?
The billionaire.
Unless, are we in World War II facing austerity measures and rationing? Like, is that where we are? Because that's about the only time that I want a leader to tell me how much I should be consuming.
Yeah. It's that K-shaped economy, right? That they've been talking about a lot. Like if you're doing well, you're doing really well. But if you're not, you're just really not. And if there is anything that really highlights it, I don't know if you saw this, but GoFundMe has this year in health report, and it found that the number of campaigns launched to assist people with things like rent, utilities, and groceries climbed 20% over the last year. GoFundMe used to be like, oh my God, this child is sick, or somebody's lost somebody and didn't have funeral expenses at the very least. You know what I mean? Or now it's basic necessities.
Yeah.
People are going on GoFundMe to ask for help.
That's
ridiculous. That doesn't tell you everything you need to know about how people feel about the economy right now, I don't know what does. I mean, it's insane. I mean, the food banks, of course, as we often know during the holidays, but especially right now. And then the SNAP benefits that have been cut for tens of thousands of people, federal employees that had their paychecks cut, probably many still waiting for those paychecks. It's just, and then Trump is sitting there with this, why isn't everybody loving what I'm doing? It's insane that he's that tone deaf. You know what I mean? Like, where are you? You're not paying attention, or he's just really hoping against hope that his tried and true, I will say this, his tried and true way of, I will repeat it and repeat it and repeat it until people start believing it themselves, or he's just hoping like it can't last forever. At some point, I'm going to be right? Like things will start to go up and I'll be like, see, told you it was going to happen, right? So there you go.
What Marjorie Taylor Greene said about that. She responded, and far be it from me to love or quote her, but in this particular case, she seems to be coming around. Here's what she said. There's an A+ rating of the economy from the Trump administration, apparently. She said, you can't gaslight people and tell them that their bills are affordable. It's insulting to people's intelligence. Yes. She said, She said, who doesn't go to the grocery store? Trump. She called on the president to have some empathy and change his tone. She
Yeah.
says, we can see at the grocery store the prices are not good. So, you can sit there and call it an A+ economy. You can wonder why
A+++++.
A++++. Why, this is the best economy we've ever seen. Why, you wonder why people aren't climbing aboard your affordability president train, because we are paying gas. I just filled up today, as a matter of fact.
Right.
It's not $5, but it's close. And I know that gas is more in Petaluma than in other places, but it was almost $4.60 a gallon.
Yeah.
So
and I mean, I know that we're
affordable.
California. You know what I mean? I know it's under, I do know it because I did check. I do know that it's under $3 a gallon in a lot of parts of the country, which is good. I do. And I will say that that's great for most of the country. We're Californians. I'm happy that it's under 4. Okay, if I could pay under 4, I'm pretty happy. But it doesn't matter because so many other things are unaffordable right now, right? And it's not only that, Kim. We were sold something with his election. And that's the thing that chaps my hide about the whole damn thing, right? It was, if this was Biden, oh my God, the pitchforks would be out, right? But the Republicans are just, shoveling BS left and right to explain why we have not seen on day one all the promises that Trump made. And it's because it doesn't happen overnight. I knew it wasn't going to happen overnight. I never expected it. But what I also didn't expect was him to screw us so badly with Doge, tariffs, and all the other crap that he did, right? I didn't expect him to be able to turn the economy around on a dime, but he screwed us so badly with this tariff nonsense. And then what he's done with the farmers, and then the socialism to bail out the farmers. And it's just, he creates a problem and then tries to fix it. And then it's like, see, no, mofo, no, that's not right. That is not how we're supposed to do things. And I just, oh God, don't even get me started on PG&E. I'm just, it's an insane time to be alive. And it's the holidays. So people are just really hurting right now. It just really sucks. It really,
what
really
do
does.
they think is going to happen when they fire a bunch of federal workers, thousands and thousands and thousands of them? What are those people going to go spend?
No.
And bump up the economy? No, they're not.
They're gonna hold on to their money. That's what they're gonna do.
So here's a guy who says, I'm gonna put tariffs on. It's gonna make these companies build their factories in America, and then there's gonna be jobs, and then there's gonna be all these wonderful, party time, economic times coming toward us. Meanwhile, he's firing everyone. I don't know about you, but I haven't seen, factories being slapped up in America.
Right.
And so everything he's done is draining the economy. I don't see that he's done anything to bump up the economy.
No.
He can say, oh, well, we have all this extra money that we found on the tariff shelf. Does that do any good to me? Does it do any good to you?
No.
Does it do any good to anyone buying holiday gifts? We're all paying more. Meanwhile, there's money on the tariff shelf that the Supreme Court may or may not say we have to forfeit. Who knows?
Well, and also, we can also throw in the healthcare and how, Republicans want to give us money so that we can shop for our own healthcare. And I've mentioned this before. I don't want to. I don't think the average person knows whether the $1,500 to $2,000 that they want to send to us is going to be enough. Spoiler alert, it's not going to be enough. I don't want, that's not a plan. You know what I mean? I understand, and I can even get behind the argument. We don't want to give insurance companies any more money. Okay. I can actually get behind that because I do believe that the insurance companies are a major part of the problem with healthcare in this country. Absolutely. But again, I said this last week and the week before, grandma and grandpa don't want to try to figure out how to spend that $2,000 in the most economical way to make sure that, her Parkinson's or diabetes or glaucoma medication is going to be covered. You know what I mean? People don't want to do that. Oh, you can shop for your own. I don't want to. You know what I mean? I don't want to. I don't pay taxes to have to do that crap on my own. Why? So I can start arguing with insurance companies, with the hospitals, with Big Pharma? No. Did they ask Americans if they want that? Did you ask me if I want to be the person that does that? Because I have the knowledge to be able to do that on my own. I have a hard enough time, finding the right, tax person or this person. I don't want to figure out health insurance every freaking year. So no, Republicans, I don't think that that's the answer. You have to make it simpler. Universal health care. How about that? Jesus.
So today, as Trump is incredulous that Americans are downtrodden about the state of the economy, there is a new poll that comes out today. It is the Associated Press NORC Center for Public Affairs Research. They found the poll in their polling information that just 31% of adults in the United States, these are not likely voters, these are 31% of US adults that were asked, approve of Trump's handling of the economy. In March, that approval rate was 40%. And the new poll, according to the Associated Press and Huffington Post, who quotes them, represents his lowest rating on the matter of his economy in both of his presidential terms to date. And here's what Trump said when finding out about this poll. He's like, those inflatable things on the top of car dealerships, like the guy whose blood the wind socks. He's flailing about saying, I inherited a mess from the Biden administration.
You can't blame Biden for much longer. You can't blame Biden anymore, dude. Come on now.
The worst inflation in history, he said. The highest prices our country has ever seen. In other words, affordability just 13 months ago was a disaster for the American people. But now, he says, it's totally different. He claims energy, oil, gas have hit 5-year lows, stock market at an all-time high. Tariffs, he said, are bringing in hundreds of billions of dollars, and we are a respected nation again.
Wake up.
Venezuela. When will I get credit for having created, with no inflation, perhaps the greatest economy in the history of our country? When will people understand what is happening? When will polls reflect the greatness of America at this point in time and how bad it was 1 year ago? He is losing it.
It's not good, dude. That's why. When it actually starts being the way you've deluded yourself that it is, it's not that way yet. I want it to be that way. Honestly, like Trump, Biden, whoever, I want the economy to be good. I want people to be able to afford healthcare. I want people to have good schools. Like, honestly, if it happens under a Republican president, great. If it happens under a Democratic president, great. I want these things. I would love it if we could get there on a bipartisan way, right? Yes. But politics, it's just awful right now. And I do believe, and I know everyone's Trump derangement syndrome, he stops progress from happening within Congress. He just does. I mean, any sort of progress, if it looks like it's going to be a Dem win or that we're compromising at all, kills it. And that's what's so ridiculous. I mean, healthcare, there are so many competing bills right now on what to do with the subsidies. Americans are just going to get screwed. Like, the extension of the subsidies is the simplest thing that should happen. It's literally what should happen because we don't have a lot of time. And why not just extend it for the very least a year? And in that year, come up with something, right? Like in a year, just give people a little bit of breathing room. And in that year, come up with something. But no, let's smash together some BS plan. And it's not going to work. It's not going to help most Americans. So politics suck. I mean, Washington sucks right now. I want to take like a leaf blower to it all. It's just, and it's so disappointing. Yeah, exactly. And Trump's pissing on our legs and calling it rain. Yeah. But he always does. He's been doing that his whole entire political life, right? He just tells you what he wants to be true, not what is actually true. And it's worked for a very, very long time. But when it's coming down to the economy and money, people can only look at their empty pockets for so long and be like, where's the money that you keep talking about? Because it's not in here. I don't know where it is, but it's not in here, you know?
You can lie about something happening between Ukraine and Russia. You can lie about,
Right.
the something that's not palpable, right?
Right.
But when it comes down to
The
walking through the
money.
store or looking at the register at the end and getting like one bag of groceries for $120, like when that happens to you and
Like,
you're like,
dude, no. Yeah.
my money doesn't go as far. I don't have
No.
enough to feed my family for the rest of this month. I'm worried
Mhm.
about healthcare. I'm getting letters in the mail that says my healthcare costs are going to rise,
Right.
or, whatever it is. All of these things are so in your face that then when he lies and tells you it's a great economy, it's maybe the silver lining with that is that there are people who are faced with the realities of a dwindling pocketbook while he's saying it's the greatest economy there ever was. Look at all the great stuff I'm doing. Maybe that's when you realize, oh, I get what they're saying. He's been lying to me all along. Maybe
Yeah.
I've Pollyannaed it right there, but
Yeah,
I
I
you know,
wish. I wish, I
yeah.
wish, I wish. I mean, even Elon Musk was on, I don't know if you saw the interview that he did where he was talking about Doge. He only
Mhm.
called it somewhat successful. He even said he would never do it again. Like it was not successful enough to do. The amount of savings, I think it came out to less than $1,500 per American is what Doge saved us. And think about how many people lost their jobs. Think about how many workers, government workers, lost their jobs
Mhm.
to save every American less than $1,500, which, by the way, is kind of equal to the amount of money they want to give you for healthcare. It's like, it ain't a lot, but it's the livelihood of how many Americans Doge screwed so many Americans. And not only that, huge question marks of what the government got from us as far as data, right?
Mhm.
About how much of our privacy was sacrificed
Yeah.
through Doge that we still will never know about, right? I mean,
Mhm.
not to mention how much friggin' money Elon Musk made while working for the government. It's just, this first year of his second presidency, Donald Trump's presidency, has been nothing obviously that I've ever seen before. But I would say historic and in not a good way. Like
Mhm.
the ripple effects of what he's done, I hope can be fixed, right? Like I hope that the tariffs can in some way, shape, or form be fixed enough where we're not screwed. But what we've done, even with immigration, I was listening to Marketplace today on the radio, and they were talking about just how the removal of immigrants, both legal and quote unquote illegal immigrants,
Mhm.
from our economy, not only as workers but consumers of our economy, has hurt our economy so much, right? Because they not only work but they buy things, right? They're an integral part of our economy, of how our country is run. And Donald Trump flicked them away as if our country was not based and founded on immigration. And to take that away and make it seem like, oh, no, just Americans only, as if there wouldn't be a huge repercussion for that, was so short sighted and still is. And I hope and pray that, well, I mean, Nome, and I know we have a couple stories about Nome coming up. I keep hearing inklings that Nome might be on her way out, but I don't know whether she's replaced or not. I just hope that whatever kind of, message or order is coming toward
Mm.
ICE gets pulled back, because this is absolutely ridiculous. We are not getting rid of the worst of the worst. We
Nope.
are removing legal citizens. We are removing people that are in the process of seeking asylum, which, by the way, is legal. Like, this is not, by the way, what Donald Trump said he would do, but he has to do to meet his self-imposed quota. So we're just shooting ourselves in the foot here by doing all of these things, from tariffs to getting rid of to legal and quote unquote illegal immigrants. It's ridiculous.
It is ridiculous. And I had a story that was specifically about that. And I think it showed to look for the exact number. I don't have the story right in front of me, but there was a story released 2 days ago showing that, this is a crazy one, but showing that the number of people arrested by ICE is now numbering about 75,000 where they have no criminal history at all. Just people that are here doing what you said. They're part of the economic engine, keeping the wheels turning, getting things to market, helping make things and get food prepared or, picked or whatever it is. They're making small businesses run, all kinds of things where we're seeing serious problems now. And you mentioned that these are people that buy things in our economy, but they also have payroll taxes deducted most of the time, that are the folks that are not working under the table. And also they are paying sales tax. Right? So
they're paying all kinds of things that they don't get any return on. You know what I mean?
Economic impact. Plus, I don't know if you saw the video about some of the people that have been picked up, but you're looking at military veterans, people that aren't citizens but have served this country. It's crazy. And here's this story before we dig more into that. Did you see this? And this is like Big Brother City. ICE is now using smartwatches to track pregnant women, even during labor. The people are afraid that the ICE is going to come and take their brand new newborn infant babies from them because they're going into the emergency room. Here's this one story. This lady, 9 months pregnant, thank goodness, goes into the emergency obstetrics unit at a Colorado hospital, and she had a complicated delivery. She apparently was born in Central Asia, checks into the hospital with a smartwatch on her wrist, and she said 2 hospital workers who cared for her during her labor, apparently they said it was not an ordinary smartwatch made by Apple or Samsung, but a special type that U.S. Immigration and Customs had mandated this woman wear at all times, allowing the agency to track her. The device, they said, was beeping when she entered the hospital, indicating she needed to charge it, and she was worried that if the battery died, the ICE agents would think she was trying to disappear. She told them just days earlier she'd been put on a deportation flight to Mexico, but the pilot refused to let her fly because she was too pregnant.
Oh my God.
And so the staff eventually removes the device. The ICE agents did not show up at the hospital during the delivery, but she was one of 3 pregnant women wearing this device that were freaked out that ICE was going to come take their baby and deport them. I mean, that's who we are now as a country.
That is insane. Yeah. And exactly, like, I don't understand. This is the only way not that I'm saying it's right, but this is how I think their mentality is. They're just using fear, right? Like, it just has to be fear. They're going to be the biggest, baddest monsters for as long as they have to stop people from wanting to come to the United States. Well, you know what? They're also going to make people ashamed to be a fucking American. Right. Like, this is not who we want to be. And they're wrong. That wasn't what people said they supported, right? Like, when people said, okay, well, I'm voting for Trump because I don't think we should have open borders, but I also I think we need to have better immigration. I want to know who's in the country. And I could support the idea of, yes, we should know who's here, right? There's nothing wrong with that. But we should go about it in a logistical way, and also not a racial profiling way, which is honestly the only way that they were doing it. And they are doing it. They're literally racially profiling.
With permission from the Supreme Court.
Exactly. Like, you're racially profiling. You're not identifying yourself, ICE agents. I don't give 2 shits if you're scared of being doxxed, then don't be an ICE agent. Like, cops do it every effing day. Day in, day out, cops piss people off. You don't see them covering their freaking face. You want to know why you cover your face? You're ashamed of yourself. That's why. But like, you're kidnapping people if you don't identify yourself. I'm sorry. But anyways, I digress. But it's just not the way it's not what people were sold. Like, people were sold one bill of goods and they're being like given something else. And that's wrong. It's absolutely wrong. There's a right way and a wrong way to do it. And And it's just shameful. It's just such a shameful, and there's repercussions. Like, and we're going to talk about this in a little bit, but the children are watching, right? The children are watching the rhetoric. The children are watching how adults behave. Children are watching, how we treat people from different races, different religious groups, all sorts of things. I mean, this moment in time matters, and the children are watching, and it's having some really sad consequences. And we'll talk about that in a little bit. But yeah, ICE has arrested nearly 75,000 people with no criminal records. That's crazy, Kim. That's crazy.
This does not include arrests made by Border Patrol. I don't know if you've heard about this, but they are doing some things at the border. They're taking people into custody that are self-deporting and trying to leave, because they're trying to boost the numbers of the people that they're arresting. So they're getting you even if you're trying to get out of America. It's crazy.
Just so they can track you and be like, you're one of ours.
Yeah. Here's what they have to say at NBC.
Agents. That number comes from new data shared by the University of California, Berkeley, as part of its deportation data project. It also found that nearly 75,000 people who were arrested have no criminal records. These numbers give one of the most revealing looks into the Trump administration's aggressive efforts to rein in immigration. NBC News senior Homeland Security correspondent Julia Ainsley joins us to break down this new data. Julia, good morning. Always great to have you with us. So the University of California got this information. It was through a lawsuit, actually, that it brought against ICE. What else did it reveal about ICE's arrest so far this year?
Yeah, they've been able to get a lot of this information that ICE stopped posting publicly. Every once in a while, we'll get a press release when they have something they want to tell us about, maybe a high-profile person or someone with a criminal record they have arrested. But in general, it's been really hard to compile this data. So that's why this is important. Of those 75,000, they had no criminal record. But then there were also a third with pending criminal charges. They hadn't been convicted yet. So really a third of the 220,000 that were arrested between Inauguration Day and mid-October are convicted criminals. And this is despite the promise to go after the worst of the worst. It also shows us more about the demographics. 90% of those, roughly 90% of those arrested so far were male. The number one nationality arrested were Mexican, followed by other nationalities from Central America. We're able to get a better understanding that there are more people arrested around the ages between 25 and 45. And this is painting a more holistic picture about the people who have been targeted in these mass deportation operations. We should say just because they're arrested doesn't necessarily mean they're deported. In some cases, people may have a legal right to be here and they're released later.
So,
Anyway, I thought that was interesting. Those numbers are interesting to me.
Yeah, but again, it just goes to show you that, like she said, it was supposed to be the worst of the worst. Yeah. That's what we were told, right? The criminals, the rapists, the worst, right? I mean, and that's how you sell it to people. That's how you get elected. Sure. But there's not enough of them.
No,
because that's not who most of the people are. They're just hardworking people that came here for a better life. That's not a good sell when you want to get elected by fear, right? You don't sell like, well, it's actually not too bad that they're here. They're just here for a better life. We're just racist. That's a harder sell. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, I don't know, man. It's just
I was reading this story the other day, just to add on to this, about the effect that the deportations and ICE raids are having on school attendance.
Oh, yeah.
Apparently, public high school principals were part of this study, which was released this week. And they said, amid the ICE raids, many immigrant students are being bullied and are absent at a higher rate. So they're getting, people are angrier at immigrants. There's rhetoric being whipped up. So they're more apt to be bullied at school. Plus there's fear. And so the principals, plural, 70% of public high school principals surveyed said their students from immigrant families have expressed fears for themselves or their families, pointing to ICE raids, political rhetoric about immigrants. The study says federal immigration actions have created a climate of distress at schools. And so 70% of the principals said their students from these families are afraid, and many of these kids are just not coming to school as a result.
Yeah. And then there is going to be a ripple effect of that, right?
Yeah.
So if you're not at school, what are you doing? Idle hands for kids, right? Like you're probably going to get into trouble. You're not getting educated. I mean, these are your high school. What are you going to do with yourself, right? I mean, there's no time to waste here. High school is only 4 years long. I honestly, like, just a side note, I can't believe we're in the back half of junior year, Kim, with our daughters. Like, I'm losing my effing mind thinking about how little time left my daughter has in high school. Right?
I know.
Like it went like that. And you don't have kids going to school for a year because they're scared of ICE? That's so much education that they're losing. That's so much social skills that they're losing for no good damn reason, right? They shouldn't be scared to go to school.
No.
They shouldn't be. That's not who we are. That's not who we are. It's just awful. It's awful.
I was hosting with Mo Kelly today on the Mark Thompson show, and he said all of this and more creates a culture of ignorance, and that's exactly right.
Exactly.
People
and they want to keep people stupid.
That's right.
Want to keep people stupid. And it's because when you're dumb and when you live in an echo chamber, right? When you only get your information from one source. And I will say, while I love the internet, right? Like I think we all understand how great the internet has been. It's revolutionized society. The human race, I will say, the way we communicate. I will even go as far as saying the internet is right up there with fire. I mean, as far as like changing literally how we communicate and fundamentally changed us as a species in many ways, right? From our behavior to how we interact with each other, how it's led us to behave with each other and believe certain things. I saw this one thing, kind of a side note, but not. And we've heard this before. There was this, he's on CNN, Donnie, not Smith, kind of Irish reporter.
Oh, yeah. I love that guy.
You know who I'm talking about. I forget his last name. Anyways, he was talking to this woman who kind of went undercover, and she dated a bunch of right-wingers, right-wing men. And this has been done before.
Donnie O'Sullivan.
Okay. Yeah. And she basically went on a bunch of dates with right-wing men. And she started off by saying, in regular company, talking to them, they seem liberal, normal, they have the talk. She's like, but on the internet, they're white supremacists. And she's like, and then she was dating them, and she would go to some of these gatherings, political gatherings, and have conversations. And what was really interesting is they didn't talk about politics. What they often talked about were relationships, often with women, because this was a heterosexual type of thing, was relationships. And I found it so fascinating that it wasn't as if men, and they were quoting Andrew Tate and that kind of crap, right? That misogynistic type of thing, this type of thing. This woman, absolutely right here. Oh, can you play it? Because it's very, very short. It's not very long.
White supremacist.
Here we go.
This is Vera Papasova. She spent the last year dating far-right men in New York City for a story for Cosmopolitan magazine.
They're the most insecure men I've ever sat down with. It was really difficult to have some of these dates because they were so insecure, because they don't really know who they are and they don't know how to figure that out.
She said the men she dated got all their news and information from the so-called manosphere.
They did not listen to anything else. They're only listening to independent media, and they're only listening to men talking to men.
The manosphere is made up of macho podcasters and influencers.
There's no such thing as an independent female.
Most women have zero concept of money.
Females don't have independent thought.
It's a space where UFC fighters are among those who reign supreme.
They love the UFC guys. They love the MMA guys because those guys do what they can. They're modern gladiators. They're badass.
Badass like Jake Shields, a former UFC star turned podcaster.
All right. Now I'm starting to feel nervous. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, of course.
Who I met at an MMA gym in Las Vegas.
Like all great MMA pros. I've never hit anyone in my life.
I'm not punching back. Hit me.
Let me know when you want to dip out of it.
No. Watch. It's a good thing.
This is CNN. Do you miss being full-time pro, like in terms of?
You know, of course I miss it. To go from professional athlete, which is the highest of highs, to retirement.
And I guess the
podcast has helped. You could fall into depression if you just go from the most amazing career where you're famous and spotlights to all of a sudden you're a nobody.
Sure.
Like other podcasters in the manosphere, Jake regularly hosts controversial guests.
And I named the podcast Fighting Back. I feel like we have to fight back what we're told we're allowed to do. I just don't like to be told you're not allowed to talk to this person. Like, why can't I talk to him? I'm not saying I agree with his ideology, but I should hear what he has to say.
He's hosted the former Grand Wizard of the Ku Klux Klan.
Today I have a very, very special guest, Dr. David Duke. I know you're controversial, but I have no idea how controversial.
And Thomas Russo, the leader of the white supremacist group Patriot Front.
Let's go where we disagree a little bit.
Yes, sure.
Let's hit race, because you're a white-only group?
So the organization only allows people of American ethnicity, and all Americans, I believe, come from Europe, so they're white.
The true heirs of the American spirit fighter!
What?
You know, I understand and talk to these guys, but I've also not brought anyone hateful. If I do, I'm going to be really on top of them.
But so you saying that you haven't brought someone hateful on, right? People will say, well, you brought on the Grand Wizard of the KKK, you brought on Patriot Front.
Yeah.
They're hateful.
No, I think those are excellent questions, but if people go and watch the actual interviews, I think they would be like, oh, this guy's not near as hateful as
he's not hateful to you.
But Vera says hate isn't
he's not hateful to
Bachman.
you.
She dated
You're a white guy, so
we're
you're
really
okay.
looking for.
Right.
One of these guys brought me to a political meeting.
Here, this is interesting.
And did they talk about politics?
Barely. They talked about, it was a bunch of men complaining about girlfriends and wives, regurgitating Andrew Tate type of advice about how to train your girlfriend, how to train your wife to be submissive. And so this group was supposed to be a political group, but they're talking about relationship problems. And the fact that that's what most of the time was spent on, you don't need to be a neo-Nazi. You need therapy.
The appeal of Jake's podcast speaks to a need among young men in this country that Vera says can't be ignored.
You have to incentivize someone to want to be better. You can't just say, let's make men better. The thing about these guys is their biggest support system is online, but that also is very isolating, and isolation is what breeds hatred.
Groups like Patriot Front offer.
So let's stop right there, because that's going to bring us to the thing that I wanted to talk about that hits a little bit close to home. Because of this idea of, do we shun people that have these ideas? Like when we were talking about that MMA fighter, right, that brought in the Grand Wizard, my first thought was, well, when you bring in the Grand Wizard, you are exposing people that never had heard of him, right, before. And now they're going to Google him and they're going to look up what he's about. And maybe you are exposing young men to his ideology. And now you've exposed new people and bred new followers, all these sorts of things, right? And that's a problem. And I think that is a valid concern when people that have a huge platform decide to, under the umbrella of we're just having a conversation, decide to give people like that who already are well known an even bigger platform. Like, I think that is dangerous for so many reasons.
So let's look at it from our perspective as former reporters and anchors and journalists, right?
Right.
Is there a benefit now? There's already a lot of news stories that have been done about the Grand Wizard of the KKK and the leadership of it. We kind of know already. Is there a benefit to sitting down and having a public conversation with someone? Would we invite David Duke on this show to talk about, why he hates people of different races, or, how he got started in the KKK? Or is there a benefit to that at this point? Or do we just already know who he is?
Exactly.
And any interview would be giving a platform to hate?
Yes. I think at this point, we already know what David Duke stands for. And I would say that MMA fighter interviewed David Duke for him, not for David Duke or for his listenership, right? He did it because he knew that when you put, I have the Grand Master of the KKK in your thumbnail, it is going to entice a certain type of listener.
That's right.
And he knows that.
Yeah.
And so it's disingenuous of him to be like, I'm just going to have a conversation because I don't want people telling me who I can't talk to. It's not as telling you you can't talk to him, but you can't say you're not giving him another platform that he does not need. He's had a platform for a very long time. And if anybody wants to know about the history of the KKK or David Duke, there is so much information. I highly doubt that this MMA fighter came up with some unique effing question that has never been asked before that was groundbreaking. Give me a fucking break over here. No, he did it for clicks and giggles. You know what I mean? So stop. It was for him. It wasn't for the benefit of society. It wasn't for anything like that.
Right.
It was so he could get views. And that's fine, but at least admit it. At least say that's why you did it. Don't try to say it's anything else but that.
There were interviews that Oprah Winfrey did. I remember coming home from school. My mom was a teacher, and so she was still at class and hadn't made her way home yet. So for like a couple hours, I was a latchkey kid, come home, flip on Oprah, do some homework, have a snack, that type of thing.
Yeah.
And I remember seeing interviews that Oprah did that blew me away as a kid, learning that people like, remember, I know you can visualize this. These KKK people with the little children sitting on their laps wearing the hoods and all of that.
Oh yeah, I remember.
And I didn't even know, like I thought as a teen, not between 9 and 12, I would have thought that KKK was like, that's, we don't do that in America anymore. Like that's olden times. And that's not in California. That couldn't be around here because I'm just this kid living in a little bubble, here in the Bay Area. Come to find out this is still happening. These people are still doing these things and they're raising their kids like this. I remember the feeling of utter shock. So I think there are some interviews that can be done, maybe for people that are coming up, that are just learning about all this, that still need to know.
Right.
And some that don't need to be done. And when you give the grand wizard airtime, I agree with you. I think there's no reason for that. All it does is take a demographic of men tuning into a certain show and exposing them to something that will make them even more angry, more violent. And it does no good for society.
No, and it's not helping anybody, but what it is doing and what is the risk is it is exposing new viewers. I mean, it is exposing younger men. And this is the problem. And this is what I next want to talk about. This is what we need to deal with is like, I would say, and I'll even say, especially given the murder of Charlie Kirk and the rise of Turning Point USA and how now laser focused they are on spreading their message and their chapters across the United States. Now, I am not, so don't come at me, going to say that Turning Point USA is going to be responsible for, every terrible darn thing around there. But I will say that Turning Point USA does have members that do subscribe to certain beliefs that are people a la Andrew Tate. Let me just give me at least that, okay? Very conservative, right-wing, far-right beliefs. Not everybody, so I'll just say that, okay? But there is a vacuum that is being filled for a lot of young men. And it's found online, and some parents are not paying enough attention. And they're looking up to people like, and I will say this, I will say that Joe Rogan, I'm not going to blame him for, having certain people on and giving certain people platforms because I don't know, some interviews I absolutely love. I don't know if you guys saw the interview he just did with Jelly Roll, which was absolutely so cute and like melted my heart. And I thought it was so sweet. And then he can do something totally asshat-ish-y. And I'm like, I can't stand the guy. But Joe Rogan falls into that where he has a major platform where he can influence very young men. He falls under that MMA umbrella where he has these people and he can use it for good, for bad. And I don't know if he's chosen a direction because he doesn't want to. I don't think he wants the responsibility. But men and young boys are finding it online, and they're finding easy places to find hate, and they're finding easy places to do terrible things. Now, something happened over the last week very close to home here in San Jose, and it has made national news. And it is awful, and it is terrible. And I want to ask you guys, what would you do if this was in your school? If this was children that you may have known? Because on one hand, there is this idea of kids will be kids and boys will be boys, right? There is this brains aren't developed. Kids do things without thinking. Kids do things for clout and for clicks, and you know what I mean? Like, and I will give a little bit of leeway for that. I will. But I'm going to play you a little bit of this ABC story just because they have the picture, and I didn't say the picture, so I want it really big. And I'm sure you guys have heard it and seen it because it's been all over the friggin' news. But here we go.
Swastika is the center of an investigation involving San Jose high school students. As first reported by the Jewish News of Northern California, the image shows 8 students lying in the shape on Branham High School's football field. San Jose police said it occurred last Wednesday. I spoke to Tamar Maisel, a senior at Branham.
I'm still just like processing it. I'm like, these people go to our school and they're basically just like putting this kind of hateful ideology and language out there shamelessly.
The image has since circulated locally and nationally. Maisel is glad it's getting attention and feels school staff are taking it seriously.
I ended up attending like a meeting with some teachers after, and I expressed my opinions about how this made me feel unsafe and like threatened, and their support and like feelings about it were just so generous. The one thing that I really like that the teachers are focusing on is not just about educating about why it's wrong, but also focusing on like the impact more than the intent.
On Tuesday, the superintendent of the Campbell Union High School District released a message to the community. He said in part, the swastika is an unmistakable symbol of genocide, hatred, and anti-Semitism. I want to be very clear, the district considers this an instance of hate violence. The district will respond firmly, thoughtfully, and within the full scope allowed by the board police and California law.
There's no political disguise here. This was an open support for Hitler and had a Hitler quote attached to the image. And so what we're seeing is unadulterated, unafraid anti-Semitism.
Tyler Gregory, CEO of the Jewish Community Relations Council, said his organization is offering help to the district and students during this time.
This is a longitudinal challenge that the district now has to solve. This is not something that should be seen as a one-off incident. And so that's why it's really important that we stay in touch with the school offering resources and support.
All right. So now I know some students that go to that high school because this is in my city. I know actually a lot of students that go to that school, and it sucks. It really, really sucks. I could not believe this one fact, that the picture, this blew my mind, Kim. The picture was posted on Instagram, on the student's Instagram page that had his full legal name on it. Like, full legal name. Like, no
They're not
hiding.
trying to hide. Not hiding, not ashamed.
No hiding, including a Hitler quote that was actually, I think, posted in German. That had to be translated. Okay. Not just to add like kind of the feel of it all. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And the thing is, where is this taught, right? Is it taught online? Is it taught like, is this
nowadays?
Is it a pranky thing, right? Is it oh my God, what can I do to get clicks or attention? This was the other thing I thought. And this is the thing that drives me nuts in this 2025 age of influencer. What can I do that will get me in trouble, but will get me noticed enough to get a job on a right-wing website, news organization, something?
Don't tell me this kid got picked up for a
No,
job.
no.
Oh, okay.
No. He's like a sophomore. No, but what I'm saying is being a far right hateful person pays. We've seen it over and over again.
Why is it that being empathetic and kind and thoughtful and reasonable, like we both are, why is it that that doesn't pay?
But how many times have you seen it in the news? Somebody's caught yelling racist ass shit, and then that Go Share Go or whatever website that is, they raise $100,000 for that asshat, right?
Crazy.
And all of a sudden they get some sort of speaking gig, and it pays to be hate. Like hate pays right now. Now I'm not saying that that's what these kids are. Now these kids aren't. But what I'm saying is these kids are watching what's happening. That's my point. Like they're seeing people not face real repercussions for posting hateful crap online. So why would they not look at that and be like, well, even if they don't even feel that way about Jewish people, which I'm not saying I'm not saying anything about that, but the repercussions from our president down of doing hateful crap in public, whether online or right in front of the cameras, it's not enough, right? Like we as a society are not holding each other accountable enough, and the children are watching. They're watching. And so what are we teaching them? Right? Like, do I think that all those 8 kids laying on the lawn right there are Nazis? No, I honestly don't. I think they're misguided. I don't know those kids. I don't know those kids at all. Just full disclosure. I do not know any of those children. But I think they're misguided. I think they need to be taught some sort of lesson, obviously. But there's a lesson for society that we need to teach these kids as well.
I'm really confused about San Jose. I thought, and since you're native, please set me straight.
Okay.
Is you're sitting there in the heart of Silicon Valley. I thought that a lot of schools in San Jose were kind of like America, melting pots. Not like the guy in the earlier interview that said America is only made of white Europeans.
Oh, we
but
totally are.
America is a melting pot.
We are.
You go to a school in San Jose, it's going to have a little bit of everything, some flavor from every part of the world thrown in. Right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
And when you go to school from kindergarten up with friends from different countries or different backgrounds, immigrants, people who are different than you tend to go, it becomes normal to you. You're not isolated in a little white bubble. So how is it that these 8 kids managed to feel this way when I'm guessing they grew up surrounded by people that were have diversity, people that they got to know as friends along the way? How do you become this person?
Exactly. It's a great question. I don't know. I've been in a lot of because obviously I'm really invested in the story. There's red threads and all kinds of crap, right? So I was in one Reddit thread and somebody who claimed to have been a friend, so a high school kid of one of the kids that was in the picture, was Jewish. He's like, I'm Jewish. I used to be friends with this kid in middle school. He's like, he's a totally nice guy. Like, I have no idea why he's like this. It's totally out of character. So that's, again, another layer of this. What would make otherwise, and again, I don't know these children, so who knows, right? I don't know their parents. I don't know any of that. But let's just say, otherwise, just normal ass kids, right? Growing up in Silicon Valley in a melting pot of a school, which it is. I mean, there's Hispanic, white, Asian, Indian. Believe me, we're in the best. We have everybody. Like it's
even more than the North Bay,
school.
Right?
Exactly. Like we have everybody. So let's not everything from Russian to everybody at this school. So what is it? And the only thing that I can point to is they're getting some sort of thrill from posting this shit online. And I will have to go to the parents because you have to stop the buck somewhere. Like, are you grabbing that phone? And I'm going to be guilty of it too. Like, am I grabbing my kid's phone every freaking day and looking through it? No. Would I be horrified if I opened it and saw swastikas on my children's phones? Yes. Like, I would be like, where have I failed? Right? Like,
right.
I don't know how these parents feel. Maybe these parents feel completely blindsided. I feel for them if they do. But you don't know. Now, here's a question. I've seen a lot of people say, expel, expel, expel. do you think, and let me know in the comments, what is a good punishment? Because I do believe the person that posted it was expelled, but I don't even know about that. Like, should you have to sit in the school community in which you did this and learn and see the hurt that you've caused and then learn and grow from it? You know what I mean? Like have your repentance made in front of them, or just be completely removed. And then what? Go online and be insulated? Because that's what I don't agree with. Like, keep him there, keep them there.
Yeah.
Be like, you learn your lesson in front of the people that you hurt, right? You need to walk through those doors every freaking day and face what you did and then learn it. And you know what also pisses me off, Kim? This is like 2 years, and I know not everybody does it, but 2 years after, like, a lot of kids go on a Washington, D.C. trip, and you go to the Holocaust Museum. Like, it's just insane. Like,
I love what Louis said here. He says, the problem is with these kids today, maybe more tech savvy, but they're becoming more ignorant in so many other important areas. He writes, I bet those kids don't even meaningfully know what they are embracing.
Exactly.
And with your thought about, with the, the discussion about the kids need to be expelled, on one hand, the kids in the school that are feeling threatened by those kids that are, embracing hatred, they deserve to have a safe community. But on the other hand, if you expel those kids, do you then lose the opportunity to teach them? As Louis says, they don't even know what they're embracing. Do you lose the opportunity then to say, get over here, you knucklehead. Let me tell you what you just did, right? Let me show you the people you hurt and why. Check out this picture of people being thrown into a pit. You want to do that? Like, you know what I mean? Like, in your face with the ugliness, you lose the opportunity then to grab these forming minds before they grow up and continue to carry that hatred, and teach them before it's too late. So by expelling them, I worry.
I feel like that's the easy out. Like, oh, please remove me from the humiliation. Like, no, sit in the humiliation. No, you need to sit there and deal with it. Like, you did that. That's what and I don't want to humiliate them, but you did this. Like, proudly though. Like, you proudly did this. You posted this on Instagram. Like, on your actual page. It wasn't like 567-5309. You know what I mean? Like, it was your name.
Right.
What is wrong with you? And I feel like, obviously, if their parents are white supremacists, I'll take this back, but I highly doubt it. How their parents must feel. Like, I'm hoping against hope that their parents aren't the ones that put the seed of this in their heads, right? Like, I hate to say it. I hope it's the internet that's doing it. I hope it's not their home. I would hope that, but it's just insane. And it's absolutely insane that this is the age that we live in, where kids can actually do something like that. Like you said, Kim, where you saw people with hoods on the television, you're like, oh my God, no. And kids nowadays laugh at that. And I think that it's because there's such a distance in history that it's become, they don't understand that wasn't that long ago. You know what I mean? It wasn't that long ago. Just kind of a side note, because it popped into my head when I was saying this, because this is something that we say to make ourselves feel old. My dad was telling a story over Thanksgiving, and he was talking to, I think, my niece or whatever. And he was like, I mean, I was born in the 1900s. And my brother and I looked at each other and we're like, well, so are we. Like when he was like trying to make this statement, like, I was born, in 1940, like, a long time ago. I was like, oh, I was born in 1978, but it's just, but it's this idea of they were born in, my daughter 2009 and my son 2011. Like, they have no comprehension of, like, 19. You say 19 to them, you might as well say 18 to them in some cases, right? Like, there is this gap in history for them. They weren't alive for 9/11. They weren't, you know what I mean? Like, there's just, and I don't think they respect the history enough, in my opinion. And I don't think teaching it to them is having the impact that I think we hope it will, at least for some of them. And it sucks. It really, really sucks.
Do you remember the movie The Social Dilemma? I think you told me to
Yeah.
watch it. It's this kind of documentary about
Yes.
social media and what happens, and it kind of follows this boy who, you know, is addicted to social media. He constantly is looking things up, and the more he looks up, you know, the more the algorithm serves him and the worse it gets, and he gets involved in like political hate groups and all of these things, and his parents have no idea what's going on. They did not raise him to be this way. This, I look at kids like this is why bans in Australia and I think recently Denmark on social media for kids might actually be something. But I was struck by this from Gordon, who writes, I'm in a men's organization that does not denigrate women. It's the opposite. We support them. And then Kevin wrote this. He wrote, maybe we need to teach boys in school how to respect women. And I go back to Gordon and I think to myself, now that we have people, ugly politicians, saying that we need a Turning Point USA at every high school in America chapter, right? I wonder if there's someone somewhere, part of these groups, like these men's groups, that can go and give the opposite message. You would think you're getting the truth and the ability to, you know, be a good person from home and from classes, but clearly it's not enough because you have people trying to co-opt the youth and teach them that it's okay to be cruel, mean, nasty, and think you're better than everyone else. So perhaps we need to have groups like Gordon's men's group put together their own chapters and go into high schools and teach boys how to treat girls, how to be a man, how to be a good man, not how to be a man that is scared and frightened and lashing out against everyone who will take their power.
Exactly.
But how to be a real man with self-confidence and purpose and kindness, and to show boys that are growing up that it's okay, that all of these things, having kindness and empathy and being a good man and still being a man, those all are compatible. You can do all of that and you can still make a way in the world and be okay in the world.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You know, it was funny. I was on Instagram and somebody posted this video of this girl, and the Instagram handle was Men Set Standards. Okay. And it was this video, and this mom was behind the camera, and it was a young lady, and she was dressed, and she's like, okay, what does dad say? And she did this whole thing about like raising up her arms and touching her toes. And if any skin shows, then she had to go change her clothes. Like it was this thing that she had to say. And the headline was like, teaching our girls to be classy. And all I had posted as a comment was, okay, now what are we now what is he teaching his sons? Right? That's all I said. You would have thought that I was like vilifying the whole message. And I was like, and I got in a back and forth with this guy. And I was like, why are you, he's like, why are you, fighting against it? You don't even know if he has a son. I'm like, okay, whether he has a son or not, you understand my point. Like, you're fighting, oh, he might not have a son. I'm talking about how are we raising our children. Like, the message shouldn't just be on, is she showing skin or not? Which you know how I feel. But I didn't even get into that. I was like, whatever, if that's how you feel, whatever. But what are we teaching our sons about how we look at that girl? Because you know what? It doesn't fucking matter if her skin's showing, by the way, because guys will objectify anything in some instances, right? Not all men. But you know what I mean? Like, that's the point. You need to teach young men to respect women no matter what they're wearing. And that was my point. And the guy was just up in arms. And it's funny because it kind of fell back into the handle, like men set standards. It's like, why? Why are men setting? Why aren't we setting standards? Why isn't it a discussion of like all of it? And I don't know, Kim. It's so hard to raise kids in this digital age because there's so much influence from so many different things. And honestly, what can start as a fun influence, like we've heard about like Roblox or some of these games where there's just a common interest of whether it's art or gaming or fill in the blank. All of a sudden, somebody can weave in and start manipulating your kid with some batshit crazy idea. Yeah. And there you go. You lost him or her to some craziness. And I don't know. It's just scary.
I love this. SJ Lola says, we're Jewish and our son attended a parochial school. I brought in a Holocaust survivor to talk to 6th graders. Seeing the number tattoo on his arm rendered them speechless.
Wow.
Yes. And as we
Thank
lose
you.
these people, because, you know, they're getting really old and we don't have people that actually went through it and had those experiences, I think we have to tape that. We have to show that over and over and over again to each class that comes through.
Yeah.
This is huge. This is all I know how to fight ugliness, lies, and corruption with is the truth.
Yeah.
And so if you show kids the truth, if you have someone that went through it telling a true story, whether it's in person, which is probably more powerful, or on tape, that's a huge big deal. There are I'm sorry.
No.
There are I'll back away. There are some programs, even if they don't do it at school, that they will go on tour, you know, someone who's written a book or something who's a Holocaust survivor. I know last year there was one who they appear in auditoriums, and you can go with your kids or libraries or whatever and go listen and hear the story. So even if you don't have that happen in your school, there's a way to give your child that experience and that knowledge so that they carry it with them.
You want to know the sad thing though is on some of those Reddit feeds that I was reading after that thing that happened at Branham School, people were actually debating whether the Holocaust even happened. And that's also the shitty thing about the internet, right? Oh, if you test the soil, the gas levels are you effing kidding me right now? Like this is also the double-edged sword of the internet. You can find anything to support any nonsense that you want. Like literally, you can create a website that will detail any nonsense that pops into your head, post it, and then people will use that as evidence.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like that's crazy to me. That's crazy to me. And yeah, Sue Ann was saying, didn't New Zealand or Australia lock down social media for kids until age 16? Australia, I know. I don't know about New Zealand, but Australia did, and the kids are pissed.
I think I saw Denmark jumped on board today as well.
Yeah,
I believe.
I saw one with Australia because they were interviewing a bunch of kids and the kids were pissed, and they were saying they were going to try to get around it, which I wouldn't be shocked. They're like, I need it for business. You can wait. It's fine. Just be a kid.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, give me a break. But yeah, it's just it's hard. It's hard to raise a kid in 2025 and keep them on the up and up. I'm like halfway tempted to just drag these kids, and I know they're going to fight me tooth and nail, but sit them down and make them watch Schindler's List tonight. You know what I mean?
That's what Eileen says. I recommend Schindler's List. Have the kids watch it.
Exactly.
Hey,
like sit there and watch it.
Tim Sika's got a list of movies they need to see. All of them. Just have it like a marathon weekend. Watch all of them.
That's going to be enough. By the end of it, you're going to be like down to the bottle.
They're going to be traumatized, but you know what? They won't be racist.
They won't be laying on the field in a swastika. That's for damn sure.
That's
you know
exactly
what I mean?
right. Teacher Lori says, I kind of scared the S out of my 6th graders after some swastikas were drawn on whiteboards. I saw them in a video game, didn't know the history. That they didn't know the history. The kids saw them in a video game.
Right.
It was very graphic with them and explaining what that meant. Yeah. Teachers like Teacher Lori. That's who you need in there to say, hold up, let's look at the history behind this. Do you know what you're drawing? Do you know what that means?
Yeah, it's just scary. You know what I mean? And it's one of those things where I think it always will come down to the same common denominator, which is parents, right? Mm-hmm. But I think it's hard. It's really hard. And I'm not abdicating my responsibility as a parent. I don't think, Kimmy, you would do the same. But you can't be attached to your kid, especially as a teenager, 24/7. There is a point where you have to give them their privacy, their freedom, because that's what's naturally at their age level going to happen. And you want it to happen. But at the same time, God, if you see your kid in a picture laying on a grass in a swastika symbol, there's a hole in your watching. Like,
imagine if that was your kid. I mean, imagine if that was your kid. I would lose my ever-loving mind.
I would lose my mind. believe me, I know raising teen, we're in the thick of it, Kim. We commiserate constantly, but I know that my kids would never do something like that. And I feel honestly, if I'm right and these parents are not, white supremacists, KKK members, and are absolutely devastated, my heart goes out to them, right? Like that some sort of influence, some sort of, I want clout, I'm an idiot teenager. I feel for them. I really, really do, because damn it, that sucks. But I would fight tooth and nail. But at the same time, if you don't expel somebody, I think that people are going to be like, you went too soft on them. You know what I mean? Like, so what I understand is the person that posted it is expelled, and it's actually 9 people because they're including the person that took the picture. So it's the 8 on the field and then the person that took the picture.
So maybe expel them all. So they'll have to go to another school, possibly within the same school district. And when they get there, they all have to attend special lunchtime classes or whatever it is on, history and racism. Maybe that's what
I don't know about removing them from that school, though. You know what I mean? Because
there needs to
then
be
I feel like then they're just
punishment.
going to be like this. They're going to team up, and I don't know if they're going to take it seriously. Like, you know what I mean? It's
my worry is the kids at the school where they did this, the current Branham High School students who are people of color, who are gay, who are trans, who are Jewish, who are, pick a group that the Nazis vilified or,
everybody
tried to went
besides white
after,
people,
right? Right. All of the people at that school then may be living in fear. They don't deserve that. They deserve that, feel like they're going to school at a safe place. So gather the 9, send them somewhere else, and make sure they're educated in a right way. I mean, I don't know. I don't know.
I just worry about the echo chamber. You know what I mean? I worry about separating them and then them getting, there's not nothing, but it's very dangerous. An angry young man is a very dangerous thing in society right now. It just is. A lonely young man is dangerous right now.
That is angry and in a society that is filled with guns. What do we expect?
What do we expect? And so I just feel like surrounding them with not understanding, but education, right? Like if the Jewish community within the Branham school, right, the other students can be like, this is why you hurt us. This is my life. Like, this is like my great grandparents or my grandparent or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, this is what that meant when you did that. Like, do you have any idea what that feels like? Or bring their grandparents in. And, and I know it's asking a lot of like the Jewish students to have to do that, right? Like, why is it on us? Why is the onus on us to teach them something that they should know? But we are a community. You know what I mean? We are a community. Oh, thank you, Cindy, for the $10 donation. All Ken Burns documentaries should be seen, especially last year, a Holocaust one, which was really depressing. Likely better education than places that whitewash history. Love your shows. Thank you. I'll have to go check it out. And thank you again for the donation. I think we had another one also earlier today from Louise. Thank you, Louise, for the $5 donation. He was talking about the ambiguous threat from Antifa. Thank you. Thank you. I didn't need to delay the thank you for that, Louise. Thank you for the donation. But yeah, there has to be a balance between, supporting the Jewish students who did nothing wrong, right? Or all the other students of that school that were hurt by that symbol. And also realizing that these students that did the symbol are still part of our community. They're not going anywhere, right? And instead of, it's kind of like the Department of Corrections and Rehabilitation. We could correct it. We could kick them out. We can, tie them up, tar and feather, or we could do something to change their mind. We can be that fork in the road of like, what do we want to do? What impact do we want to have on these children? Right. And I think that that's the hard part that the poor principal at Branham is trying to figure out. It's like, how do I support the current students while understanding that these 9 children messed up in a really bad way, but aren't trash, right? Like we don't just throw them away. We need to figure out a way to help them redeem themselves because they are children and we can help them if we do it the right way. And that's what I believe. You know what I mean? Because it's so easy to be like, they're terrible, they're rotten. You know what I mean? Like, I get it. You know what I mean? And right, too tolerant. But what do we do? So, because what I'm saying, Vicky, is like, so they're sophomores. Like, think about that. They're what, 15-year-old boys? Like, this is a turning point for boys. So we have a choice here. We can toss them away. And that vacuum will be filled. It will be filled. And then we'll have 9 more young men that will have hateful BS filled from men on the internet and other people in their lives. Or we could try. We could try to educate them. We could try to do something else. You know what I mean? And that's what I'm saying.
I defer to teacher Lori, who says, don't expel. Make the whole school get educated, and then just those kids at lunch for the rest of the year. Also, they have to do community service.
Of course. Yeah, they'd have to do something. And I think the community service should be focused within the Jewish community. They should get to know Jewish people.
Yes.
They should like have to volunteer like at a Jewish center or something. You know what I mean? Like, get to know Jewish people. You probably don't know any Jewish people because I doubt if you knew Jewish people, you would ever do something like
this
that.
Kid did that. You said this.
Well, he knew somebody at school that was Jewish, but like, you know what I mean? Like,
these are school friends. These are people you work with. These are people that are in your life. Even if you're not best friends, they're on the, they're in and out of your life on the periphery and coming in, and you're assigned a project together, whatever it may be.
Yeah.
How do you even know someone, look someone in the eye, say hello to them in the hallway at school, and then turn around and do something like that? It's flabbergasting.
Well, I saw a story in the Petaluma, whatever, that the Harlem Globetrotter, the former Harlem Globetrotter, had a swastika spray painted on his car not too long ago. Yep. So it's not only, but he thought some teenagers had done it as well. The kids, not saying they don't know if it was teenagers, but they're thinking it was teenagers, obviously. Kids need to be educated. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just saying, like, I want there to be something good that can possibly, if it's at all possible, come out of this, instead of just tossing 9 children away, especially young boys. You know what I mean? Like, young boys need guidance. And if this is what they've done, they really need some more guidance. So yeah, I don't know. I'm just, it makes me sad, but, and I feel for my community. I really do. Not just the high school, but just the whole community, because it is a good school and it's got a lot of good kids. Yep. And I feel for the principal. Like, it's been a tough half year for him, by the way, so far. So my heart goes out. We're in the same district, so my heart goes out to all of them. And it's a hard one, but yeah, it's gonna, I think hopefully the holidays will help heal a little bit. Make sure there's no gun in the home. Exactly. Like, again, it can go dark like so freaking quick. Didn't we just go to the the Department of Education doesn't educate, but yes, I hear what you're saying. But yeah, it's definitely crazy. All right, let's lighten things up just a little bit. Okay. We're ending the show. I know this is a little dark and heavy. I had a.
Wait, can I just break a little bit of news before we lighten things up? I wanted to tell you that, where is it? I just had this story that I saw that, you know how we as a country went and we took an oil tanker, we pirated.
Yes.
The United States has just sanctioned 6 more ships following the seizure of this tanker off the coast of Venezuela.
He's a peaceful president right here.
The United States of America has imposed fresh sanctions on 6 more ships said to be carrying Venezuelan oil. The sanctions have been placed on some of Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro's relatives and businesses associated with what Washington calls his illegitimate regime. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt telling reporters the seized vessel, which is now called the Skipper, was involved in illicit oil shipping. And of course, Venezuelan is calling it international piracy. But now we've got 6 more of these ships that I guess, are we going to go steal those ships too?
Yeah, probably. I mean, it's I was watching Jon Stewart, like comparing what's happening with Venezuela with what's happening, you know, like back in the 90s. It is, and the 2000s, it's, you know, the exactly wag the dog. It is, pay attention. Like, they're just totally trying to fool us on this BS. You know what I mean? Like, come on.
How stupid the president is. He said when asked, what are we going to do with the oil? He said, I guess we keep it.
You think?
Even Holy Roller Caroline Leavitt who comes bearing her cross and then doesn't subscribe to her religious tenets.
Exactly.
Says that the U.S. is following all legal guidelines and is in the process of completing forfeiture of the oil. So we're not keeping it. Trump doesn't even know what's happening.
No, we are keeping it.
Yeah.
We're not going to forfeit anything, by the way. No, she's full of shit. We will never give up anything. We're not going to give up anything. I highly doubt we're going to give up any oil.
Sell it to fund the ballroom. That's what we're going to do.
Oh my God, the ballroom that's getting even bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. All right. You know how, like, who does the moment of Zen? What was it? This is your moment of Zen. The Daily. It wasn't the Daily Show. Whatever it was. I have to play this because teacher Lori, I think, was mentioning it. So we're going to end on a happy note, which is just a hilarious note. So Kristi Noem, before I get to it, Kristi Noem has been questioned regarding all of the illegal immigrants, quote unquote, being deported by ICE and blah, 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 blah. And, you know, she's apparently going to lose her job. That's the rumor. I would love for, you know, Barbie to be gone. But this was the funniest crap that ever happened. And I was showing it to my husband and I was like, you know, again, if it wasn't our real life, I would just continue to laugh my ass off. So
family with me. I'd like to introduce them to you.
And deportations. Disruptions of congressional business is a violation of law, is a criminal offense under federal law.
The power of Christ
to take their
compels
seats
you.
and maintain order. The chairman may now ask Capitol Police to remove and arrest the person creating a disturbance. Stop terrorizing your community.
I just think yelling the power of Christ compels you from The Exorcist at Kristi Noem is the epitome of chef's kiss. Like, I absolutely
can you play it again? Because I had a hard time understanding it the first time.
Okay, so yeah, so this guy's not even a cardinal, by the way. So like, he just dressed up in the costume and then like went in there. Now again, hold on, you have to wait 5 seconds. But yeah, so this was today when a protester dressed up as a Catholic cardinal rose up during her testimony. Hold on, here we go. Hold on. I gotta get it. Here we go. So yeah, he just starts raising his thing, and the line is from The Exorcist, of course. Here we go.
Family with me. I'd like to introduce them to you.
And deportations. Disruptions of congressional business is a violation of law, is a criminal offense under federal law. Audience members are advised to take their seats and maintain order. The chairman may now ask the police to remove and arrest the persons creating a disturbance. Stop terrorizing your community.
I mean, that's true.
Stop terrorizing your community.
I just like the power of Christ compels you. I mean, if he had like thrown holy water and she like burned, that would have just been perfect. But yeah, I just love the protesters. So that was your moment of Zen.
It's the perfect thing to say because, as I mentioned, you have these. I saw Alina Habba.
She's lost her job.
They picture her and she's got this cross that's like I swear it's massive and it's crusted in diamonds, right? And it's huge and sparkling on her chest. It's like we're back in the Crusades with these people. And
No, it's
Caroline
all for
Levitt
show.
wearing this massive cross on her chest. It's like, fine, if you want to wear your cross or your whatever religious symbol, I don't have a problem with you telling people who you are and, you know, wanting to share that with everyone around you. But if you're gonna do it, then at least know the tenets of your religion and act like the decent person that you're supposed to be, the one who washes the feet and uses the empathy, right? And who welcomes the sick and the poor. Like, at least be that guy or
Yeah,
girl
and Jesus
or
was a
whatever.
carpenter and he
Yeah.
wasn't all gaudy with the diamonds and all the crap, right? I mean, come on. Yeah, it's just it's for show. Like that's what they do. You know what I mean? It's like and not that I have anything wrong with the flag, but it's like the flag pin and it's like it's performative. So I have to have the big cross so that you know that I'm for God and all that. And they're not, they're heathens. You know what I mean? Exactly. They don't care. It's all for show.
You're not for God. You're not.
No,
you're not for God at all.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You're doing the exact opposite. The question of what would Jesus do clearly is not one you ask.
They don't want to know what Jesus would do. Jesus would be so ashamed
Jesus is
of
too
you.
woke. I saw that.
Exactly. Jesus is way too woke. Too woke. Okay, one more thing. A Times Person of the Year. Did you see who it was?
Yeah, I did see that earlier.
So Times Person of the Year. I didn't save the picture, unfortunately. So I'm going to just share this and hopefully it's big enough. And it's lame. It's AI. So they tried to recreate that like old-timey picture of the workers on the beam from back in the day. And then they did the scaffolding of the AI right there. Everyone was talking crap about it because it looked so cheesy, which, you know, given AI nowadays, it's fine. You know, AI is not a person, so I think that's what's lame about it. I know they try to like couch it as in the people behind AI. I don't know. I think that really AI is disruptive. I don't think it's the person of the year. People were thinking Charlie Kirk should have been person of the year.
God.
I don't mean to be heartless, but his death happened way too late in the year. I know that sounds really bad.
I'm sorry. You didn't. Your death timing is all wrong.
He's not the person of the year. I would not think that Charlie Kirk is the person of the year, right? Like, no. I'm not trying to stomp on anyone's grave. Yes, his death was shocking. I still don't think he's the person of the year. I think that saying he's the person of the year is just showing your political affiliation. I don't think that he's the person of the year. I think it was just a shocking death. I mean, you can say, anybody watch, by the way, the Diddy thing on Netflix, the documentary by 50 Cent? Oh. If you want to know the epitome of petty beef, you have got to watch the Sean Combs Redemption on Netflix. Anybody? Oh my God. Okay. So if you don't know, I don't know if any of you know. So 50 Cent and Sean Diddy Combs have had beef for decades. Okay. 50 Cent hates him. Okay. And has hated him for decades. And he got all of this private footage that Sean Combs filmed while he was going through the charges prior to being arrested. And he was going to use it thinking he was going to be freed, but then he wasn't. And so he wasn't going to air it. So 50 Cent got all of that footage and a bunch of other and created this Netflix documentary. And then apparently 50 Cent gave an interview to Good Morning America on ABC. And the reason why he only did it on ABC, he says, is because he knows that ABC is the only channel that they show in prison. So he wanted to make sure that Sean Combs could see it. Anyways, it's very well done. It's a bunch of crap that you have not seen before. It's more about like why he thinks and the evidence that Puff Daddy, whatever, Sean Combs, is behind the murder of Biggie and Tupac. Lays out a lot of evidence for that. But anyways, very interesting documentary. My husband and I watched it. It's very, very well done. I think it's like 4 or 5 parts, but it's on Netflix. Very well done if you're into it. But I am telling you, just the shade from 50 Cent alone is enough to make you giggle. But it's really sad. Like, Sean Combs is awful. Like, the crap that comes out of what he's done to other people besides what we already knew is terrible. It's absolutely terrible. So yeah. Oh, I love this. Kim's my person of the year for risking her life and saving Jacob. Should we find the video again? I don't know. You're muted. You're muted. But yes, I still
I'm sorry. I'll take your award. Thank you so much. It's much better, I think, than a fake Trump award. However, I don't know if I deserve the credit because I think any mother would do that. But trust me, recently along the Monterey coast, there have been several deaths, including a father trying to save his daughter, and they didn't survive. And don't think that I didn't think of that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's never turn your back on the ocean.
Well,
never,
we didn't.
Never. I know. It's
Yeah,
happened.
but
It's
still, I
happened.
mean, it's just anything can happen. Anything can happen. These people weren't
And
even
thank you
in
for
the
the
water,
donation.
right?
Yeah.
Thank you for that. I appreciate it.
That's just God,
Mhm.
that was that a year ago? Jesus, Lord Almighty.
Super scary.
That is super scary. All right, you guys. Well, that is our show. Thank you guys for being here. We will be here next week, Thursday at 5 o'clock. And I want to say thank you to Luis. He came in for a couple donations, that one and an earlier one.
Yeah.
Thank you so very much. Cindy also came in with a $10 donation as well. And yeah, you guys let me know. Given what we were talking about with the kids and the swastikas, what do you guys think is the best way of teaching kids nowadays with the gap between Holocaust and the education? And are you doing anything special to kind of hammer that message home? Let us know. But thank you guys so much for participating in that. And we are 100% crowdfunded. So if you want to support the show, all the ways to support the show are always in the show notes. PayPal, we love PayPal because they don't take anything. Patreon also, and of course our super chat and super stickers are always live, whether we're live or recorded. Okay, you guys, take care of each other. Of course, you can always reach us at thenikkimadoroshow@gmail.com, thenikkimadoroshow@gmail.com. See you here next week, Thursday, 5 o'clock Pacific. Love you. Bye.
Nikki, you're all so awesome. You're proud, like a beautiful blossom. You're also the best. I really can't rest. You're all so awesome.
Wow. Okay.